Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson explains that people behave differently because their personalities are different, not because they are stupid. Most conflicts, misunderstandings and frustrations in daily life happen because we assume that other people think and behave the same way we do. When they don't, we feel confused or irritated. The book introduces a behavioral model that divides personalities into 4 main types represented by colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. These colors are not meant to label people permanently but to help understand patterns in behavior and communication. Every person has a mix of all 4 types, but usually 1 or 2 dominate the way they think, speak, and act. Understanding these differences helps us communicate better, reduce conflicts, and build stronger relationships in work and personal life. The red personality type represents dominance and action. People with strong red traits are driven, competitive, decisive, and focused on results. They like efficiency, quick decisions, and clear goals. Reds often become leaders, managers, or entrepreneurs because they are comfortable taking control and making tough choices. They dislike wasting time, long explanations, or emotional discussions that slow things down. Because they are very direct and impatient, others may see them as aggressive, rude, or insensitive. However, reds are not trying to hurt people. They simply prioritize results over feelings. When communicating with reds, it is best to be brief, clear, and focused on outcomes. They respect confidence and efficiency and prefer conversations that quickly move toward solutions. The yellow personality type represents influence, enthusiasm, and social energy. Yellows are outgoing, optimistic, talkative, and creative. They enjoy meeting people, sharing ideas, and creating excitement in groups. These individuals are often good at networking, marketing, entertainment, or leadership roles that require charisma and communication. Yellows love attention and positive environments where they can express themselves. However, they can sometimes appear disorganized, impulsive, or overly emotional. Because they focus on possibilities and fun, they may lose interest in details or structured processes. When communicating with yellows, enthusiasm and friendliness work best. They respond well to energy, storytelling, and positive interaction rather than strict logic or cold facts. They want to feel engaged and appreciated. The green personality type represents stability, calmness, and cooperation. Greens are patient, supportive, loyal, and good listeners. They value harmony, relationships, and emotional safety. Greens often work well in supportive roles such as caregiving, teaching, counseling, or teamwork environments where collaboration is important. They dislike conflict and usually try to keep peace among people. Because they are calm and cautious, others may sometimes view them as slow, passive, or resistant to change. Greens need time to process decisions and prefer stable environments where things do not change suddenly. When communicating with greens, patience and empathy are essential. They appreciate kindness, reassurance, and respectful conversations rather than pressure or aggressive demands. If they feel safe and valued, they become extremely loyal and dependable people. The blue personality type represents analysis, structure, and precision. Blues are logical, detail-oriented, careful, and systematic. They like facts, accuracy, and well-organized systems. Blues often excel in fields such as engineering, science, finance, research, or any profession where analysis and precision are important. They prefer working with clear instructions, rules, and structured environments. Because they focus heavily on details and correctness, they may appear cold, critical, or perfectionistic to others. Blues dislike emotional exaggeration, unclear information, or chaotic situations. When communicating with blues, it is important to present clear facts, data, and logical reasoning. They respect accuracy and thoughtful explanations rather than emotional persuasion. The book explains that most problems in communication happen because people use their own personality style when talking to others. For example, a red may communicate quickly and directly, which can overwhelm a green who prefers calm discussion. A yellow might talk enthusiastically and jump between ideas, which can frustrate a blue who wants structured and precise information. Each personality type sees the world differently, so they interpret the same situation in different ways. When people fail to recognize these differences, they assume others are difficult, lazy, or incompetent. This is why the author humorously calls the book Surrounded by Idiots. The idiots are simply people whose behavioral style we do not understand. A major concept in the book is adaptation. Instead of expecting everyone to behave like us, we should learn to adjust our communication style depending on the person we are interacting with. If you talk to a red, be concise and results-focused. If you talk to a yellow, engage them with energy and positivity. If you talk to a green, be patient and supportive. If you talk to a blue, provide clear information and logical explanations. By adapting in this way, communication becomes smoother and relationships improve significantly. The author also explains that personality types affect how people react to stress, leadership and teamwork. Reds under stress may become controlling or aggressive because they want to regain control quickly. Yellows under stress may become scattered or overly emotional because they rely on social energy and attention. Greens under stress may withdraw or become stubborn because they want stability and safety. Blues under stress may become overly critical or perfectionistic because they focus on fixing problems through analysis. Recognizing these stress responses helps us understand people's behavior instead of judging them harshly. In workplaces, these personality differences strongly influence leadership and collaboration. A team composed only of one personality type would struggle because each type has strengths and weaknesses. Reds provide direction and decisive action. Yellows bring creativity and motivation. Greens maintain harmony and stability. Blues ensure accuracy and quality. When these types work together with mutual understanding, they complement each other and create balanced teams. The book emphasizes that no personality type is better than another. Each type contributes something valuable. Problems arise only when people refuse to understand differences and insist that their own way is the only correct one. The goal of the model is not to label people permanently but to improve awareness. When individuals recognize their own dominant style, they can become more flexible and empathetic toward others. Self-awareness allows people to adjust their behavior in different situations and communicate more effectively with different personalities. Another important message is that personality is partly shaped by environment and experience. Although people may have natural tendencies, they can still learn to adapt and develop other traits when necessary. For example, a blue can learn to communicate more warmly with emotional people, while a yellow can learn to focus more on details when accuracy is required. Personal growth involves recognizing your natural strengths while improving areas where you may struggle. The book ultimately argues that most interpersonal problems come from misunderstanding rather than bad intentions. When we understand how different personalities think and communicate, we become more patient and tolerant. Instead of seeing others as difficult or stupid, we begin to see them as simply different. This shift in perspective reduces frustration and makes cooperation easier in families, workplaces, and social relationships. The key lesson of Surrounded by Idiots is that effective communication requires awareness, empathy, and adaptation. By recognizing personality differences and adjusting our communication style accordingly, we can avoid unnecessary conflicts and build stronger connections with the people around us. Understanding human behavior is not about changing others but about learning how to interact with them in a way that respects their natural tendencies. When we stop assuming that everyone should think like us, the world becomes easier to navigate and the people around us stop looking like idiots.